Friday the 13th, Part 7, A New Blood. This was originally supposed to be Freddy vs. Jason the first time. They tried it many different times before they could finally get it done in their 11th chapter. Obviously, at the end of Jason Goes to Hell, the glove pops out of the ground, pulls the mask under. That was supposed to lead into Freddy vs. Jason. They could never get it made, but they had been trying even since all the way back to Friday 7. So when that was set aside, they took the script and they rewrote it to put in a girl with telekinetic powers, which I'm fine with. I think it's funny that people are okay with it being a zombie coming back from the dead and killing people, but telekinetic powers is just too far for them to stretch their imagination. I'm not going to say the concept for this is ridiculous, because it absolutely is. This is one of those, thoughts that you have sitting down with a group of writers, and they're sitting there like, throw me your dumbest idea you have. I don't care. I just want to hear all ideas. Don't be shy. This is one of those answers. Like, all right, fine. Let's telekinetic powers. Isn't that stupid? I like it. Let's go with it. Like, really? I was kidding. So this is a weird direction, because it was kind of just like, I get it. Like, these studios, they need to give something new to the audience so they don't feel like they're watching the same movie. So they're like, all right, well, this time we're going to pit him against the telekinetic girl. And next time we're going to take him to New York. And the next time we'll take him to hell. And the next time we'll take him to space. And the next time we'll pit him against another known slasher. So, and I get that. It's just telekinetic powers. That was an interesting take. So let's get into this movie. This is the first movie with Kane Hodder. He obviously plays Jason in this and the next 3 after this. The timeline in this movie is very interesting, because in part 4 takes place in 1984. Then 5 jumps ahead at least 7 or 8 years. Then 5 to 6 is at least a year or 2, if not more. Then 6 to 7, you see that Tina comes down. She gets in the boat. She's a little girl. Jason is still under the water. This has got to be in the 90s by now. Then it flashes forward at least 10 years. So I'm guessing around 2000 at the earliest this movie's supposed to take place. I saw somewhere that they said that Friday the 13th Part 8 is supposed to be in 2002. So that would kind of make sense. But they made no attempt at trying to make this look futuristic. There's probably budgets and them being like, nobody gives a shit. Which people probably wouldn't have. It would have been fun to see, though. We got a few familiar faces here. We have Sally from Slumber Party Massacre 2, which is a favorite of mine, and Lar Park Lincoln, who plays Tina, the main girl. She was also in House 2, A Second Story, which is my favorite horror comedy of all time. I reviewed the entire House series on this channel about a month ago, and I just recently talked about Slumber Party Massacre 2 in my slasher recommendations video that I did yesterday. So definitely check those out. I like in this movie that Crystal Lake is Crystal Lake again. In the last movie, it was Forest Green. This is like 10 years later. I guess they were kind of just like, well, the murders just keep happening. Nothing's changing. This place ain't going to get a better reputation. We might as well give it its name back. These later installments definitely make you want to root for Jason more so than any of the other installments, no doubt about it. And they seem to throw in this, obligatory cunt that you get in definitely in these later installments, these characters that you're just aching to watch die. You're like, please someone kill this person. 5 had a bunch of them. But this one, Melissa, is just begging to die the entire film, and they save it for the last kill of the film. And I think that was smart, because it just builds up that tension and that excitement of like, when is this girl gonna get it? And then when he opens the door and he puts an axe in her face and he throws her over the thing, it is just so exciting and relieving, and you're just like, yes! One of my major complaints with this movie, and I understand because this was the most heavily cut Friday the 13th film. It had to be re-edited 9 times for the MPAA to give it an R rating. This movie has almost zero gore in it. The next one, I just watched the next one too. I'm going to review that here after this. But the next one, same thing. I was like, wow, I remember these being way gorier. I remember these being way more violent. But honestly, film today is way more gory. I'm sorry, I don't care what anyone says. They are way gorier now. I've seen tons and tons of films, in theaters even, with R ratings. The Evil Dead remake was fucking gory and bloody as shit. Those are the kind of, even like Rambo, oh my god, that's not a horror movie, but it should be. It was one of the most violent films I've ever seen in my entire life, and that got an R rating. So it's incredible what you can get away with now. Like, I'm curious on what these films would be rated today. I feel like they could almost get away with a PG-13 just for the gore. Obviously, nudity and cussing and whatnot would get it the R, but the gore is really lacking in these, and I was very surprised. You have 3 couples fucking at the same time in this movie. Talk about them trying to pack on the sex and whatnot. You would think, because it's like, what do these slasher films need? They need gore, and they need nudity, and they need kids fucking and doing drugs and this and that. And it's like, you got 3 couples fucking at the same time. You got tits. You've got drugs and drinking. But there's so little, gore. There's 15 kills in this movie. So it's not like they're lacking on kills. But they're all so uneventful. It's such a shame. It's such a shame. Jason deserves so much better. I like the scene where David goes down to get himself food, and Jason is in the corner, and the lightning lights up the room, and you just see him in the corner. That's one of the better shots in the Friday the 13th series. So often in this series, you rarely ever see Jason like slinking around. He's usually just pops up and they're dead. I also found this is a cute little quick joke in this movie, but when the sci-fi guy, I can't remember his name right now, but when he's looking penis enlarger and he pulls out the magnifying glass, I thought that was the funniest shit when I was a kid. Like when I got it, I was sitting there as a kid. I maybe saw this movie right when it came out, like on VHS, so maybe like 1990. So I'd have been like 9 years old. I just was like, penis enlarger magnifying glass, and I was like, I thought that was fucking hilarious. What is up with all these cats in movies? It's just so stupid. It's just, why with the cats? Why are cats always jumping out of shit? They're being thrown through windows, jumping out of closets. It's so dumb. I don't know why the cat thing annoys the shit out of me. Man, it's funny that Melissa is the character you want to die so badly in this. Maybe other people felt differently, but Melissa's character is the one I want to die the most. But the doctor, Tina's doctor in this, is way worse. He's such a piece of shit. He not only is using her, and making her mind go crazy, or just so he can, document her and become famous or whatever. But then when Jason's coming after him, he holds her mother in front of him and lets Jason kill him so that he can't, so he can avert the attack. I was just like, man, this dude's a piece of shit. But for some reason, Melissa was the character I wanted to die more. I wanted the doctor to die, no doubt about it. But his death wasn't anywhere near as satisfying to me. Not sure why, because she's nowhere near as bad as this dude was. This time, they changed it up a little bit. I've talked about this in many of the previous videos, how the final girl always locks herself in a house and then someone is thrown through the window. That does happen in this movie, except for this time, it is Jason himself and not a victim. So I thought that was a nice little change. I like how, she breaks the electrical cord, it comes down in the water, and like a power line hits the water and it doesn't kill him, but then she drops a little mini roof from the porch on top of him, and she's like convinced he's dead. She like goes back to the house and she's just like, he's dead, I got him. It's like, you think that killed him after what you just witnessed? And he's been underwater for years, then you let him up, and that the roof, that you're convinced he's gone? That made me laugh too. A lot of things make me laugh in these movies. That's what they're supposed to be. Jason, speaking of House, the House series, if you've seen House 1, the main antagonist at the end, Big Ben, looks just like Jason in this movie. Jason gets his ass kicked by this chick, man. He doesn't stand a chance. He puts up almost no fight. I mean, he's just a punching bag for this girl. She has her way with him in this movie. I think it would have, I don't know. They did it fine. I just, like, he stands no chance against this girl in this film. It's just one after the other after the other. He barely even gets close to her. I never noticed, but at the beginning of this movie, when they're doing the opening narration, that 5 fucking minutes for the movie to start, they do that in almost every one of these. We don't need... we do not need an opening explaining the last film. We don't need it. The last few films, whatever. Friday the 13th doesn't have a plot. We don't need a previous on recap. Anyway, doesn't matter. Crazy Ralph from part 1 and 2 is the actor who does the narration in this. I never noticed it before, but I looked it up and it sure was. The ending of this movie, just like the ending of the next movie, is so stupid. It is so fucking stupid. Oh, what? Her dad jumping up out of the water after she summons him. Come on. That's just so dumb. It's so dumb. He's completely, fully intact. He looks exactly like himself. Like, I don't even know what to say about a scene so stupid. They never recovered his body. It's been sitting right there the whole time. It hasn't had any decay on it. Jason looks like he's fucking went through the meat grinder, but your dad looks pristine, like he just fell in the water 5 minutes ago. And just her summoning the dad at all, and her... Like, I enjoy Jason coming back. I enjoy Jason killing teens. I enjoy seeing chicks naked. I enjoy, that's what these films are. And I'm not going to complain. These are stupid movies, like these later ones. So I can't complain too much. But that ending is fucking stupid. I don't have a ton to say about this movie. It wasn't as fun as I remember it. Same thing with 8. It was fine and I enjoyed them, but it was definitely to a lesser degree than I remember, and it kind of bummed me out a little bit, to be honest. I was like, I remember liking these a lot more. Maybe it was just like a kid thing. These were way more impressive when I was a kid, but now because the gore is so tamed down and the kills aren't that exciting, I'm like, wow, like that's kind of the best part of these. And they're really not getting to me anymore. Anyway, let's get into my last part here, which I've done on every one of these videos. We've got the kills at 15, as I said. The best kill in this movie is definitely the sleeping bag kill. Everybody knows that scene. It's one of the iconic scenes. They even brought it back for Jason X. The favorite character, honestly, I don't think I have one. I'm not really a fan of almost anybody in this movie. Sorry. If I had to pick one, I'll pick the sci-fi guy, because it kind of, I don't know, reminds me of myself a little bit when I was younger. And the hottest chick in this movie is Robin. All right, moving on to Jason Takes Manhattan.